Although life can seem unfair, an eternal perspective helps us see things differently. Jesus told about a rich man who lived a life of luxury. By the standards of those times, he lived about as high as it was possible to live. In direct contradistinction, we are told about a beggar named Lazarus who laid near the gate of the rich man's property. He was hoping to be fed with just a few of the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. He was full of sores, entirely sick, and diseased. Comparing the two men, most would call the one lucky, the rich man, and the other, the beggar, unlucky. The rich man had all of life's advantages. The beggar had none. But then Jesus tells us the beggar died, and he goes on to say, the rich man also died. The rich man found himself suffering in torment and agony, and when he looked across a great gulf, he saw his former neighbor, the beggar. But the beggar was experiencing no torment at all. He looked comfortable, happy, and at ease. The disparity of the two men's conditions was greater in this new place than it had been while they were on earth. Only now it was the beggar who was doing well and the rich man who was suffering. The rich man called out to Abraham and begged him to send Lazarus over to him with a little water to cool his burning tongue. Abraham told him, "Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he's comforted, and you are tormented." So both men experienced both bad and good times, but the difference was that the rich man's prosperity and abundance lasted only 70 or 80 years, but Lazarus's happy state would endure forever. Let's suppose a soccer coach requires one of his players to wear 10-pound boots during the opening minutes of the match, while every other player is wearing ordinary soccer cleats. Now, that would seem highly unfair. The match will last 90 minutes, and the idea of being able to accomplish anything in those 10-pound boots is ludicrous. He cannot keep up with the other players. He's exhausted after a few minutes, and he knows he will never score a goal or really even be in the game in any significant way. After 3 minutes of futile efforts to keep up with the others, he's worn out and thoroughly depressed. But then his coach calls him over to the sidelines and substitutes another player. Our boot wearer is not too keen on his coach for making him wear those boots, but still he remains respectful. The coach tells him to take off his boots, which the man eagerly does. Then the coach gives him a new pair of soccer cleats, but he explains to him that these cleats are magical. They'll enable him to run 3 times as fast as he ever could before and jump 3 times as high. They will also empower his kicks so that when he kicks the ball, it will be sent forth with far greater velocity than his previous kicks. Believing his coach, he gladly puts on the new soccer cleats and is sent back into the game. And how things suddenly change. Now he's outrunning everybody, outkicking everybody, and scoring goals like crazy. By the end of the match, he's scored 45 goals with his magic cleats. He runs to his coach and thanks him again and again for those amazing shoes. Does this man consider himself unlucky or deprived because he spent those first 3 minutes of the match in 10-pound boots? Not at all. Considering what he was given after those short 3 minutes, he considers himself the luckiest player on the field. The magic soccer cleats he wore after those first 3 minutes more than made up for his time of wearing his boots. If it took 3 minutes of shame and struggle in those boots to enable him to wear the shoes for the remaining 87 minutes, that was the bargain of his life. And so it is with us in our short little 70, 80, or 90 years of life on this earth. We may struggle, we may bemoan our weaknesses, we may suffer painful tragedies and look at others and wish we could be more like them. But as we consider the incredible, eternal destiny we have in Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins and rose from the dead that we might live with God forever, not just 87 minutes, we can only rejoice. Eye has not seen nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love Him. And it all comes through Jesus Christ. We have no grounds for complaint.